We're live again.
Oh, yeah, here we are.
This one I have named the LocalSupport LIfe after Dokku production deployment.
Or life after Redid, or it's life after Heroku is sort of
Yeah,
where we are.
I like
Um,
it.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, do you want to share your screen and show us it working in Brazil? So let's see if the DNS updates have. I don't know. They probably have.
Yeah, so this is the deploy, and this here's the Heroku one.
That's the Heroku one.
No, sorry, this is the Dokku one. Sorry.
Yeah. And so the Heroku one is now not. It's off. In fact, that was
Yeah.
that. I mean, the potential confusion is like which one is actually running. I've turned the Heroku one off. It's our billing drops there, and yeah, it's all that was. I mean, if it hadn't been for that big explosion on the Dokku box that we encountered, was it now 2 days ago? I forget when it was.
Mm-hmm.
This we could say this has been remarkably smooth, couldn't we?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like we had even more limited time than we did for the sprint 2 weeks ago. So that's all really positive.
Yes, indeed. Just trying to send one message in. Go on. I'm doing that in the wrong channel. I've got so little motivation for managing all these. Oh, there's so many things which are like on the borderline of being self-paced and of being automated. But then there's like just some steps and you can't. And it's like there's usually some edifice like a bank or the government or whatever in the way, and you're like, oh god. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, so I guess what I'd love to work on is this. I created a new ticket, which I guess maybe we can put into voting. I don't know if DevOps tickets make sense to vote on so much. But I put in a ticket on like getting our what is it called? Like the whole DevOps flow working now that we're in this new setup. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly lots of things that we could be getting into in terms of like, I mean, certainly that WebKit thing seems like that's something that we can, that would be very, particularly since we've seen that be a problem for a lot of people. Yeah. It would be really exciting to get rid of that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last place we left it, Federico was blocked by that. I mean, there seems to be a workaround that they have found that works, but
yeah.
And that's something that it relies on, pulling in the gem from a branch of a fork, which may or may not ever be merged into the actual gem,
Right.
That doesn't feel like a very good solution.
Indeed. No. But yeah, so I mean, I think before we start, the thing now is that any pull request that we merge, I'm just gonna put like a vote on this. Is vote new DevOps flow for Dokku. Like if we merge anything now, it's going to be automatically deployed to the Heroku develop, not to our Haro CN develop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So probably before we merge anything else, we want to get set up so it's doing deployments to the right place.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So one thing we might kind of immediately do, and if you want to drive this, is we could go through the same process. We could create now. It would sort of seem sensible to put to remove the develop box or the develop instance from the where the Met Plus is. Like we can sort of carry on clearing out the stuff from around Met Plus and move that Dokku develop into the gosh, I can't remember what it's called, the AV playground. Am I making any sense at all?
Yep, you're making sense. Actually,
that's good. I'm really struggling finding this. I haven't drunk all the coffee
because right now we have the Haro CN develop, for example, that's in this box here with the Met Plus. Right. So the idea is that we would destroy this box and its Postgres database, because we're not going to use this anymore on here. And then we would maybe, since, I mean, what I understood is since this is still LocalSupport sprint, we would maybe leave this stuff here for the time being. But having removed this would take us one step closer to the ultimate goal of leaving just the Met Plus stuff here. And
yes, exactly.
we would go over to the AVP Dokku and we would create this and kind of go through what we did yesterday with the production, but do it
yes.
with the
Yes, indeed. And we could use that opportunity to, so we've now got the notes on how to do that. So this is a chance, like by running through this, to make sure those notes are kind of sensible and up to date. So I mean, I mean the link for that, if you don't have it to hand, I'll just put it in the chat there. Yeah, do you want to drive this one and go through this creation process on this box to create a Harrow CN develop in that location?
Should I create or destroy first?
Well, I would always say like create first. I mean, of course, there's no, you know, there are no ultimate rules, but like I'm always nervous. I mean, it's like, you know, I could have destroyed the Heroku production one. I mean, the Heroku production one, it's all still there, right? And I won't completely destroy it until I'm feeling very safe and secure in the new setup.
Yeah.
And you might think me completely paranoid, but that's
no, I mean, I get that. I mean, in this case, I don't think we're even using that other one. So
no, but it's an example of a working setup. So I mean, you can say, well, we've got another, you know, we've got this new one, a Harrow CN production, but still, like, if at the end of the day there's still a Harrow CN develop on the box with Met Plus, I mean, it's not causing a problem by being there. And I guess I'm keen to get as quickly as possible to the place where we might find the thing that's going to be difficult to do. Do you know what I mean? And what I anticipate is going to be difficult, that may be difficult to do, is hooking up Travis CI so that it uses a hook to deploy to Dokku Harrow CN develop. So to kind of to rush to the place where the highest likelihood of a problem might be, you know, that's my strong. So yeah, so you've gone ahead and created the Harrow CN develop there. Yeah, that looks great.
Did you? Sorry, did you? I didn't know if you. Now, I can't add this. Oh, I can add this AVP Dokku. Yeah.
So yeah, well, what do you have your remotes called locally? I mean, you can open a new tab.
I have, yeah, it's AVP Dokku.
So you have one AVP Dokku at the moment. Okay, so you could call that AVP Dokku develop.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it could just be develop, but yeah. I mean, if you haven't got develop locally, you could just call it develop. I mean, because we're moving towards a situation where there's going to be develop, staging, and master, or at least develop and production, and we will no longer have any. You know, they should be the default things, and yeah, no, that's cool. Great.
Yeah. I got confused here for a second because I have here, so I'm following these instructions. I have here the AVP Dokku, which has its apps. I've created a new app there, but now I've added, okay, yeah, so this is just, okay, this is just for where I'm going to push to. So then I'll do get push and then AVP develop.
Right. I mean, we've got it. The sequence of things tells us to set a devise secret key next. And I guess I've got it round that it's like create and link the database before doing the pushing, which might be wrong. I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe that will. I've got to push the code up as step 7. I mean, I would be tempted to follow the sequence in documentation.
Yeah, so we can know if it's right or not,
and then know if that's right or wrong, and then change it according to what we experience.
So one thing I noticed is that I'm going to do that I don't know if other people are going to do or not is to create a key. You know?
Yeah, right. Oh, and so that if you've got like a little handy thing, you could like pop that into the local support DevOps, and I'll just add it to the in Slack, and I can add it to the. Here's a way to.
Is it not easier if I just edit this? Or
well, I put it in edit mode. Okay. I mean, it would be if it was like Google Docs and it supported multi edit, but yeah, by dropping it in there, we get it in the.
It is specifically on Linux, right?
Mm-hmm. Cool, thanks.
Yep. And then this here, grab. Which I noticed. I don't know if you probably already knew this, but I noticed that we don't need to worry about copying these in, or maybe I shouldn't say maybe we don't need to worry. But I was gonna say like that you can grab this secret key later if you. But would it be good practice for us to be copying these keys into somewhere?
When you say copying these keys into somewhere,
Like LastPass or something?
I think that one, I don't think that particular one. So it's kind of different from like an API key or something that we might need to, like this device secret key. I don't think we're ever in a situation that we need to recall it. It's one of these things that's what this one is doing is, gosh, what is it? What is it doing? It's just it's like a random thing so that people can't do certain sorts of attacks on the login system. So it needs to be random. But you know, if like so let's say we lose the box, there wouldn't really be any circumstance where we can't just add a new random one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So unlike, for example, if we'd got a special API key from GitHub and it was then, you know, tedious or difficult to get it again. But yeah, so
you can get it though. As I mean, I guess maybe there wouldn't be any reason for you, but they do have this.
Oh yeah. No, you can get it to pull it down, but yeah, and so it's sort of stored and it's there if we need it. But yeah, it's not a key that we have any problem about losing, really.
Yeah.
But other kinds of keys are ones that we might care about losing, and we might store in LastPass, but just not this one, I don't think.
Yeah, cool. So I guess now we do have a Postgres list because we have the plugin, I guess, because this is the same. Yeah, so I can just go directly to this command here, copy that, paste that here, and say develop. Then I can just link that. Wait for container to be ready. Okay. And creating container database, securing connection to database, and create it. So then if I say link, I don't know, do you think there's any reason that I should be or we should be adding to the thing to after creating to check the list of these to see if it's like in running status and unlinked or not?
You mean that we should be? I was a bit confused there. Sorry. Go on. So say again.
So like after creating, run this command here to list.
Oh, I see. To like put conceivably about what to expect. Yeah, I mean, I can add notes on that. Yeah, that like.
The reason I thought about it is because we had that situation where we had kind of like half created, and like you had an aborted create, and then it was like not a good idea to link it if it's not has the status of running. But then I think this output here would hopefully would tell you if there's something wrong. You know?
I mean, I'll put a note in that. I mean, I think what we had is the problem was that it wasn't running with the one. Like somehow it was in like standby or something. Yeah, I mean, I'll put a note in there that says like MB, you can check the status of the database. I mean, to an extent, this is the majority of people in the project are not going to have access to this stuff in the first instance. So
so then I'm just going to check again. Oh, see there, I made a mistake. Oh, that's not good. So I need to unlink. Oops. Okay. So this here, I want to unlink the production from develop.
Interesting, because that seems to be now, it's actually linked to 2 different apps, which I didn't even know that we could do, but that's interesting to know. Cool.
How would you? Okay, and then check the list again. Okay, so now that's okay. I guess I will come over here and see if there's any, if I can notice any difference in the
Yeah, I've
production.
already checked production. It seems to be okay.
Oh, the first thing you did now?
Pretty much.
So here I'll see and develop. With here I'll see and develop, and this we want to link. Okay, and list. Make sure we look okay. And we do. Okay, and then let me try to see if I can remember. So now that we've created a database and we've linked the database, we don't need the database to have anything. Oh, we did migrate the database, didn't we? Because when we tried to push without migrating,
it ends up complaining that it doesn't have the tables.
Okay, so
I mean, it's interesting.
Pushing the develop branch here, right? So what do I have? Local changes. Okay, changes. Okay, I'm gonna run this rigs VCR Billy. I'm use 5.1 VCR Billy. Okay, then what change do I have? Okay, so I can actually add this, commit this.
Oh no, what have I done?
Okay, so now I can go to develop. So what I want to, I guess if I have the same thing, so I'm going to pull from upstream develop. So I have the same thing as we have, and I already do.
Yep.
I just did that earlier today. So then I would say git push avp develop.
Did you ran the migrations and they worked, did they?
Oh, sorry. Just got done saying I need to run the migrations. I was switching branches. That's what I was doing. So shavp Dokku Postgres. Or is it Postgres? I think it's just run. Actually, I'm gonna check that.
The docs there, yeah, I think it's AVP run.
Yeah, and then Hero like this, but with develop here. Unable to find image Rails latest locally. Okay, yeah, pulling from library. So where is it getting this? This looks like it's getting from a Docker file.
Yeah, I guess that probably that there's a container that's running the Postgre and starting other Postgre things, and which is, I mean, I think Dokku is Docker files. It's all Docker files under the hood. You just don't really see them.
Yeah, I was talking about containers, and this all this stuff here looks like app image. Oh yeah, it has this app image that comes from Dokku. Yeah. So when we created it, it created these images.
Oh, but so wait a sec. Here, like it's doing this. Is like we're trying to. It's interesting. We're running the. I think this won't work. Or well, it like I'm just thinking about it. I mean, the running the migrations, like assumes that the migrations are actually on that box, like Haro CN develop, right? But if we haven't pushed the code up, then where's it going to get the migrations from?
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
So
it's fun. So like, it seems like those two steps would have to be swapped, and that there's no way to avoid the initial error unless we get some way to automatically run the migrations as part of the pushing there, which would be a nice feature to have. Yeah, there we go. So like,
starting container process calls execdb migrate.
Yeah, there's no basically there's no we've got the app Haro CN develop, but it's got nothing in it, right?
Yeah,
because we haven't pushed anything there yet. So there's a kind of chicken and egg thing, you know what I mean? Like we can push it there and it's going to fail. I mean, that makes me think we could ask the question of like Dokku auto run Rails migrations, and maybe there's like a hook.
Yeah.
Oh, there was that. Oh, this is probably the thing that you were referring to.
Yeah.
Which there migrate. If this, oh, there was. What's that there?
Post deploy.
Here we go. Deployment hooks. You could run a database migration manually after each deploy or integrate it in the process. To do it, just add an app JSON file to the root of your project. There we go. Is that a deployment hook for Dokku? Is there such a thing as Dokku deployment hooks? Deployment tasks, advanced usage, Dokku, app.json. Okay, yeah. So should we just pop? You could just you could just like pop this code into app.json locally and just commit it locally. I don't know if you want it on a, or and to be honest, we could just put, I don't know that this necessarily needs like a full pull request and stuff. You could just commit it locally and see if it works. You know what I mean? I could put you've got the yeah. So you could copy and paste that into an app.json. I wonder if we almost might have an app.json file. I mean, you can replace. I'd do the whole thing and then and edit the name and description and stuff.
Okay. We do have an app.json here.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Which has now So app.json was being used. There was a thing there's a feature on Heroku that would basically set up a new instance for you for every pull request, which was great, but it often didn't work and it was very expensive, so we turned it off.
Oh, look, they have a post deploy hook in here.
Okay, so I guess that's interesting. But so I noticed that the difference is that the thing for the deployment hooks for Dokku is it's scripts, and then there's a sub thing of Dokku. So we could add like a Dokku in there, and I would add a second command there, like so we could have like the one as is. Yep, exactly. And I was going to keep both the post deploy on the scripts level, as well as putting. Oh, and perhaps you are. Yeah, you just moved first. Sorry, count.
But it needs. Okay, but this needs to be. This is important, like where it is actually. So it doesn't like something about this. What am I missing? Oh, because it's not in parentheses. Okay. And then grab this. Or should I just copy this?
Copy which thing, sorry?
I was talking about copy the post deploy that we already have that runs the migration, but it also runs DB setup.
I think for the Dokku one, let's not have it run DB setup.
Okay.
Let's have it do what the yeah.
And this still doesn't look like it's happy for some reason. Why are you not happy? Maybe this needs to go above this. Maybe this needs to go here. Yeah, like that. Although now that's not happy about that. So, okay, so I think, yeah, I think we need to have this whole, this whole, well, do we need to have more than one scripts?
More than one script.
Yeah. Or this needs a comma. That needs a comma. There we go.
Yeah.
So like that. So now we have a script that has a Dokku with a post deploy. We have a script that has a post deploy.
Yeah. Ah, but so, and which is the one that you've removed the and setup from?
Here, this.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, that looks great.
Okay. So I do need to commit that though, right? Because
you will need to. I would commit that, but not push it to anywhere. Just, I mean, we'll push it directly to Dokku and see if the combination, if that can work too. And then if that's the case, then we can oh gosh, what come on, brain. Yeah, we will then, we can remove the migrate step from the documentation.
Okay, so that's pushed. That's in my Git history. Yep, that's what happens when you commit something. And then I'm going to say git push avp develop. And then I'm going to push to what? To master of avp develop?
Well, yeah, you would. I would do develop : master. So you're pushing to avp develop, which is specifying that box and /cn develop on there, and then you're pushing the develop branch, but you're telling it, just treat this as if it was the master branch. You know, trust us.
Okay.
We know what we're doing.
Yes.
Sort of.
That's why we started a new box. We trust ourselves that if something goes wrong, if it's in an isolated box, we can fix it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, we now create the different problem that potentially things that we can do here will take, you know, local support down. But since the customer's not actually paying for local support, I'd rather have local support go down accidentally than Met Plus.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So while this is pushing, I don't know if there's anything you want to talk about. So then I need to set up the domains. Okay. Then set up the HTTPS. Import data into the database is.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I did that in the back. It would be good for me to throw the things in there, just so that we have a record of those. What am I? I'm just here trying. What am I doing? Yeah. So Oh yeah. Well, I guess what I'll do. Well, assuming that I mean, anticipating that will work, which it probably won't. I will remove the instruction to run the migrations from that sequence. I mean, I'll put that there as a note at the end, as like NB if you need to run the migrations. If you
I'd like to get when we get these videos for all the talks we gave, it'd be nice to get your opinion on some stuff. Like I'm gonna put some stuff there, but I listened to a talk about a guy talking all about using like Git hooks and stuff. It was really interesting.
Right. Yeah, indeed. So
I do have a question. Like, I mean, this whole thing about like, so we're saying post deploy, run the migrations, but then we don't actually get through the whole deploy process because it gets stuck on the fact that we haven't run the migrations. So I'm a little.
Did it get stuck again?
No, but
just thinking that it. Right, I think that there's attempting to run scripts Docker pre-deploy from app JSON if defined. So. I think
that's pre-deploy. But then when does it, like, I guess, you know, the thinking is that it'll run the post deploy actually before it's actually deployed,
or as part of the process.
Yeah, here we go, post deploy.
Yeah, I mean, it's
look at that. Again. Whoa, that's exciting. That's so much better than pushing it and watching it fail and then running the migrations and pushing it again.
Indeed.
Look at that. Wow, that's powerful.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't look like very many migrations, but okay.
No, that's now the thing that I see there that's seems strange to me. Can you like that? Is that says application void develop Dokku, and it shouldn't have that information. Can you just hit up and show me the now is that can you do git remote -v and let's look at what AVP develop is. So AVP develop there at the moment is linked to not the playground, but to the, so it looks like what we've done is just push the latest develop code onto the other older box. But so I think that AVP develop there needs to be like, you need to change the URL for it.
Yeah.
So that it's I mean, what you might want to do actually even is just clean up here, because like basically the thing that you've got in there is Azure production no longer exists. We removed it.
Azure production.
Yeah, I know. Go right ahead and remove the AVP develop. That's.
Can I remove more than one at the same time?
I don't know. Maybe let's try it. Yeah, and Azure -production.
No.
No, just one. Boring.
Okay, so then I need to do git remote add, and then I need to do that, but I need to change this to West Europe. West Europe. And is that the only difference?
And then you need -playground after the word Agile Ventures before actually the dot.
Playground. And this maybe to keep it the same as the other one, I can say Azure Playground develop.
Yeah.
You could argue that I could change the other one, but
anyway, yeah. But that's nice and descriptive of what it is.
Now I want to put now I want to push to, and we want to check that. Have you already checked to see that didn't affect anything in a weird way?
No, but I will.
I mean, there was no errors or anything, so presumably.
No, I mean, I think all that happened there was that we ran the latest migrations on the develop box on the the original Agile Ventures Dokku thing, which brought that up to date.
But
and should have affected it. I would learn some more. But all time is lost once it's gone. There's no.
So you were able to like get to that conclusion because you were thinking that these migrations wouldn't be enough for if it were a new, like if there's nothing pushed to the.
I didn't. I was more looking at where it says application deployed develop -dokku.harris.org.uk, which implies that domain is set for that Dokku app, and we haven't set a domain thing. I mean, conceivably, we haven't created Haro CN development in the right place. No, we probably have, because that was created via the SSH config. So I mean that's just the old one. But yeah, so I guess that's starting a long and winding push in the background, is it, to the so that's the first deploy. So it would be like downloading all of the gems into the thing. So that's probably going to take.
Look at using. Yeah, we could have seen at this point that it was something was wrong as well.
But so yeah, so I've just updated the docs there. Yeah, so we're going to be, so there's setting the domain. There's going to be setting the HTTPS. There's going to be me adding notes about envars. So there's other stuff there. I guess. I mean, what I'm also tempted to find, like, I'll put a note in here. Should auto run as part of post deploy hook. And I guess I wanted to at least look at I thought I found somewhere. Did they mention CI in this? No, Travis. Let's so what we want is Travis deploy to Dokku, and in fact, deploying from Travis CI to Dokku. I guess this is. There we go. We've got a little blog there on that. I guess if we we've got. I mean, this is the thing I do like about Travis is that they have the details of everything in the .travis file, which I'm just going to look for, which is here. Travis YAML. And so at the moment we've got hold on. So it's doing all of these things, and so somewhere here, so we've got like deploy provider and then API key, and then it tells the different things where to go. So one might hope that there was, see, and you can see there we've got this thing telling it to run the migration, which potentially we won't need now that we have the Doho. So, yeah, this, like this, yeah, that's interesting. So I guess what I would love to see is like a little, what's it called? A provider there and Dokku, but I guess Doku's not a provider. This guy is showing us, like how to, after success, and like how to run the commands that would just actually do the pushes that we're doing manually at the moment.
That was in 2017. So
indeed, so which and so may not work now, or may work with wrinkles, or can we search the? That's not what we wanted.
Yeah, like on the Travis CI documentation, they talk about like how you can deploy to your own server, which maybe in this they do have a yeah.
It's annoying that you can't search these docs. I mean, I can do sites dokuviewdocs.io. I just wonder if they mention. Somebody control F. Travis. No, not actually mentioned in there. Sorry, which docs were you referring to?
It was just in the custom deployment travisci.com.
Oh, right, just how to run arbitrary commands there. With
they're saying kind of the same thing. It seems like after success.
Yeah, I know that looks like that looks.
But then I also here they said something about script provider, which is different, I think, than what it's that provider Heroku. But then I So
I mean, I assume that the Travis. It'd be nice to have a list of providers.
So I think script is a provider as well. Like you say, deploy, and then you provide the script, and then in the script you say which script you want to. And you can even say which branches and stuff, and then I guess you can write your own custom scripts.
Yeah.
And, keep your Travis cleaner.
Yeah, I'm just looking here at the Travis CI. They've got the thing on Heroku. They've got specifically on Heroku.
I've used this before as well.
Yeah.
And API.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. So here is a list of all of the different.
Oh, there we go.
Ones. And so yeah, not surprisingly, Dokku is not there, but as you were saying, there is script deployment, and so then that's the script that it should. So I guess we've got an option to make it a script that we check in, or to make it like what this person's done is he's effectively got the script, the series of things that need to be done are in the it's like a series of statements rather than being a script, and have that series of statements in the Travis, right?
Yeah. So in the background, this has failed the to push.
Has it?
And the same way that we had it fail yesterday.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah, well, which you were sort of anticipating that. Yeah, it's like it's got to some point in the system where so it hasn't run the post deploy.
Well, I think because it's running this proc file. App proc file found. Well, this.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that it's got attempting to run scripts Dokku pre-deploy. It seems like almost. I mean, maybe it's just silly, and we should just like run the migrations and then push it up and say, okay, that's just one of the crazy things you have to do. But it looks like we could almost put the bundle exec stuff in the pre-deploy.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd almost be tempted there to put like, yeah, it's interesting. It's like, I mean, generally what we want is, I think, for it to run in the post deploy. But yeah, yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering, to myself, why it's failed to load command unicorn. So it's when it tries to start up unicorn but I'm not sure exactly why it is doing that, because what are we using unicorn for? That's just part of the Heroku-ish thing, presumably.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like on website one, I know we're using Puma. On maybe we have been using Unicorn on Heroku as part of, whatever.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess here I don't know whether it will want oh, what's the word? It'll want to reinstall all the gems again from scratch, or if it will sort of keep them from the previous run.
I wonder if can I do something like SHAVP Dokku. Well, maybe I shouldn't do anything with SSH right now while it's pushing, actually.
Yeah, I think, from
But I was wondering if I could just, it'd be interesting for me. It would be interesting to see what's in this Dokku proc file. Because this isn't something that we added. It doesn't seem like. It seems like that's created when we create the.
Yeah, that's maybe put there by default.
Yeah. I wonder if that has a value that we, or like something that we can look at, But
yeah, I mean, probably if you search for Dokku proc file, you can probably find the default contents for it online, I would imagine.
That's probably true. Because I know that in the proc file we have unicorn in LocalSupport.
Right.
So yeah, it says that Docker normally defaults to using Heroku build packs. Interesting. Out again. No. Yeah, so it's using all the same. It was able to use because yeah, it's using Docker, so that makes sense. That's what happens when you do things locally as well. It notices that you've already grabbed those, and it just uses the caches.
Uh-huh.
Realize that says pipeline. Yeah, so it's starting to get to the place where it's going to run the pre-deploy.
Interesting.
What's interesting?
Yeah, no, I'm just thinking about what I would like to do is get these, if we can get it working with the Travis CI, and then yeah, it would be lovely to start like, you know, like for pull requests that we want to merge in, like the WebKit one, and we would need to get any changes to the Travis CI like rebased into that or just merged into that, and then we can merge that and hopefully see the system push it to the Dokku, and that's like MetPlus wants the same stuff. I'm sort of thinking about this is probably a website one sprint. So that was the other thing. We had somebody new premium mob member, which is wonderful, but they got a 404 when they finished their PayPal payment, which is not great user experience. And
yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we should. I'm sort of thinking after website one, you know, we should probably do a sprint on maybe do a sprint on Met Plus. You know, even if it ends up being that we do it around clearing out the other things that are on the box with Met Plus, and just make sure that Met Plus is getting, you know, prime treatment, and sort of check in with JP and the project client and everything. Oh, did that now work then?
Yeah, that worked.
Yeah, so you could point that to do the develop.harrow. So the other thing I was thinking about this is that, I mean, we can potentially have now, rather than having to like turn the servers, like the individual boxes, on and off all the time for like to save money on Heroku, we can actually have the develop and the staging servers are just there running all the time, because we'll only be paying for the load that we create on them, not for the for Heroku. If we want them always on, we pay $7 a box for every box a month as kind of like a chunk. There's no, you're not paying for the amount that you are paying for the amount you use, but there's like a $7 base, and this is allowing us to get kind of around that.
The email stays the same for this, correct?
Yeah, that's it's forwarded to me. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, can't brain. So I was going to go and
just to make a comment. So that's what you were talking about, is like your second, maybe the second most important thing for this week is to be able to automate the process of moving from develop to staging to.
Well, yeah, that's another thing. I mean that's a love to have thing that becomes now much more practical, because we can have a cron job on here that runs on a Monday and says, okay, you know, whatever's on develop is going on staging, and the cron job, you know, that on Wednesday that says, well, whatever's on staging is going on master. And that, I mean, it's sort of it's a little bit I feel like a little bit dangerous in that, you know, if we are not around to like test it, then it just gets out there. But at the same time, particularly with this project, I feel like, you know, rather than like pull requests that have been merged languishing, you know, it pushes it back on us to make sure that when things are ready to merge, that they're really ready to merge, and that we do kind of like do the visual check. But before we go for that, yeah, if we can just get the same level of the CI deployment hook stuff working in the right way, then that's going to be major. It's difficult to look beyond that until we've actually got it working, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to switch the actual develop box now to point to this Agile Ventures playground.
Oh, would that, so it's erroring out on the certification.
So that might be because I maybe needed to do that thing that I just did first. So you could try that again now.
Yeah, that happened last time as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and it also happened on the production one earlier today when I was in the process of setting up. I may, of course, with the DNS, it's. Oh, is that working?
Yeah. Yeah, it looked like the first time it was trying it, it was like, oh, it's likely was not successfully self-verified. It's likely to fail as well. But then I think it said retrieve successfully.
Yeah. So now we've got develop. Yeah. And so, yeah, with Google Maps not loading correctly. And
auto renew. So I think this last command is not
doing what we hope it does.
It doesn't seem like it, at least. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't hurt because it just tells you that it's not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we'll see now. I mean, like now we're live on, and we'll keep these things on, and we'll see if we get a reminder in 3 months and if the HTTPS goes. So, well, so I guess like you could put a Google Maps API key in there.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I mean, I can show you the command. What I'll do is maybe show you the commands. I mean, I'll show you the commands. I'll show you the commands and put them into the other stuff that I did. We probably don't want develop like sending emails right away. So I don't know that there are so many other envars that we want to set per se. At least not be in a rush to do, but it's good for. I mean, you may have done it already, so it's like not so interesting. But the commands that we use to there we go. This is a command that, let's go here. So yeah, so like import data. So this, once you have a Postgre dump locally, this is the command that you can use to slap it in there. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there, I guess we'll put like then I don't know what's in there.
I think maybe change that production to temp.
Oh yeah. Good, cool. And then we want to say like NB to grab data from Heroku. So there's basically a two-stage command, which I just did a moment ago. No brain. Come back here. There's so many different little windows in my mind.
Brain.
I've got all these little windows. What am I doing? Oh, that was the one that I'm just looking through the histories in. I wish there was sort of like a joint history. Mm-hmm. I guess it's actually faster for me to look up on. This is like Heroku PG backup download. There's like a couple of yeah. Here we go. This is I'll put the link to the article on how to do that. So I mean, you could like grab. I don't know if I think you've got permissions for the LocalSupport.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I've ever done anything with Heroku on any of.
I remember setting up Brent and Nick but basically the way that I do it, or the way that I'm set up. So basically there's these commands here, And then with Heroku, you can have a nice like -r like this, right? So this would be like, let's put that in as temp there. And this is relying upon your git remote value, right? So, you know, yeah. So I've yet to see how to grab data from Dokku. Like I presume, I mean, what you could do is if you haven't got access to this, you could try. I mean, I suspect that the way to export data from Dokku would simply to be doing something like this. We would say export, and I don't know. I mean, you can look up the docs there, but it's something like that, and you could sort of like look up, do help on the what's it, and find out. I'll just put it like not checked for accuracy there on that one. But yeah, I should go and run off to get ready for this karate lesson now.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's in there. So I get like, what shall I just add for completeness, the note on, I guess we've already got one thing on setting the device secret key, but that was the thing that Federico, the other thing that Federico was mentioning was that we kind of maybe need something. Is it Gmap API key like that? We could really use some notes on, like, okay, how does one navigate the interface to get this thing and not get stuck trying to find, you know, adding credit card details and whatever. I mean, it's annoyingly a moving target. So
I did pair with Joseph, and we were talking about it, and he just is like not really so interested in going through it, to be honest. I was like,
right.
Okay.
Indeed. Yeah. But for other people who would like to have the maps, go on.
Seth doesn't have either, from what I could tell, like when she was sharing her screen. And our docs do say, like, you know, it's optional, but
yeah, I mean, I think that what would be the difficulty, of course, then is that people are doing development and then they can't see if they've broken the map because it's just not available, period.
If they run the test, they would.
Right, but yeah, assuming that everything's but that, yeah, I mean, but still, I mean, but so like, it would be sensible to, like, you know, if there's something we could say to help people get their own Gmap API key there, we could even like create 10 and hand them out to people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. And
go on.
The new, you know, if we decide to move on to the new geocoder, then we wouldn't need a Google Map API key.
Yeah, well, that's a bigger. I mean, that was kind of skewed over that. I mean, one, there's like let's get rid of WebKit. Yeah, two, that's an even bigger thing. So like the new version of geocoder is not using Google Maps, right? But that's just for like looking things up. But so as a result of switching to that also means we have to throw out everything, the entire Google Maps. That seems like a big ask, if you know what I like.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's like we've got the geocoder gem, right? And they've decided to go to like not use, right? But it's a bit like the tail wagging the dog, right? Because the first thing is like we have a map that we can display, and then presumably there are other geocoding. I mean, like, I'm all for like actually moving away from Google Maps and moving to like the one that you mentioned. What is it? Open Maps or something?
OpenStreetMaps, yeah.
Right, which is like, you know, like a proper open source, not like a big evil corporation thing, right? So that sounds wonderful, but it also sounds like, ooh, you know, we've been with Google Maps and it's worked reliably for a long time. That's a big switch, right?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was mentioning, because like the way we use the geocoder gem and the way that Hunfunk uses it are completely different. They don't have any interactive maps, you know. So, but the thing is, I mean, you know, again, like maybe, you know, it's quite possible that I don't understand everything about it. But the thing is about like using the info boxes and being able to search for specific events and organizations and them show up and the marker on our map is using geocode. So I think it seems to me that's why it's broken, having just changed.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not disagreeing with that assessment at all. I'm saying right, but so, you know, the one solution there would say, well, if geocode of the gem has moved to using this other thing, then we need to move to the other thing. But the other way to go is to say, well, maybe we use something else for geocoding. Like, it would seem odd to me if Google did not provide any mechanism for geocoding. Do you know what I mean? To support their existing maps. So an alternate solution, right, would be to throw out like if the process of upgrading the geocoder gem forces us to massively change other stuff in our system, which, you know, maybe is a good. I mean, we'd have to do an assessment of how difficult overall that change would be, right? And even if we end up working out thinking it's quite simple, you've got this huge difference between here's something that's been running in production for the last 4 years and has basically been reliable, right? And then here's something else that we've never run before, right? That's a huge leap of faith. I mean, sometimes, you know, it's a sensible thing to do, right? But you know, that's a big. We want to think carefully before we start investing a lot of time in a big switchover that might end up leading us down, like to invest a lot of time, take us down an alley, and eventually get into like a strange corner case where we're completely stuck. So we should probably consider as well that another alternative is to use a different geocoder gem that does work with Google Maps, right? Does that sound like it's conceivable that there is such a gem out there that
I mean, I could talk more to Robert about that because I think he wanted to do that as well, and I'm not sure that he found that. I think he just moved on, but he, you know, his is not nearly as big of a change as ours would be, and definitely, I mean, I think you know, it goes back to like, you know, how much time you have to spend on things that potentially are not going to actually get merged in, and being tied to the results. But I mean, you know, and that leads it back to the point where you need to go to karate and I need stuff to do for the rest of the day.
Yeah, right. And so, but we've got the stuff to do the rest of the day is then all the things in that document there. So like for the develop thing, you can get that, the map working, practice pulling some data in, even if it's just having pulled the data off the other Dokku box, right? If you don't have access to the Heroku one, and, you know, follow through with that. But so then assuming that you've got the develop, and even if none of those work, you've still got a develop box where you can push things to. So you could, if you're inclined to work on it, you could continue looking at. I've put all the links to the Travis notes, and you've got them anyway, I think yourself, into the ticket. So you could be experimenting with Travis CI changes that and see if you can get them pushing to that new develop box that we've just created.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely. I mean, I think I can work on the script, but I like to be able to see if it works properly means I would need to be pushing, like merging stuff into develop. Correct?
Not necessarily. You could have a branch and you could have the thing in that, and I think you can be telling in the, you can, like, the details of the script will allow you to push to wherever you so that you can basically set it up so that the .travis thing exists on a feature branch, right? And the feature branch tells it to push to that Haro CN develop box, right? So it doesn't ultimately will then connect it up so that it's you know, the develop branch has it, but you can be doing it from a feature branch before you're actually merging anything into develop.
Yeah. Yes. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Have a go and exercise.
Make changes on the feature branch, but maybe not. Maybe I could just, because I need.
You can make changes on the feature branch if you push a commit to the feature branch, right? The feature branch itself will build, right, on Travis if it's got .travis YAML in it, right? And so just pretty pushing up causes a build, and then there's a pull request merge also causes a build, and it does the double set. But we only need one build to run on a change on a feature branch with the appropriate script, which you'll have complete control of, to see if, I mean, the key thing I think is going to be getting the SSH keys and stuff to give Travis the permission to push to GitHub, right, from its box in the cloud. So yeah, I mean, have a go, you know, and see, and yeah, we'll check in tomorrow.
Cool. Awesome.
All right. Good luck.
Thanks,
Matt. Bye for now.
See you
Cheers.
soon.